Lads and lassies, this is the Lightbringer. He brings the light. He also just stands right the fuck in front of everybody and gives no fucks whatsoever. I love him. He is, bar none, my favorite healer. Well, maybe that's not true. But he's up there. He may have like a three-way tie for first. But Uther has a nuts-ass health bar. He mitigates a lot of damage, and he can provide some really insane CC. So that is something we're going to focus on in this draft. We do have a double warrior, double a backline comp, and then you'll notice in this game that Uther himself, with his tank-ish kit, is going to lend very well to that. So let's hop in, let's learn you some things about this character and his position in this draft especially, and then shovel it all down. Alright dudes, we're on day 4. It's the last day, it's the final day, and it's an Uther game. Uther is historically the most simple support for me. He translates to the tank play and the front line, and just a lot of really easy play with this build. So I picked him up in this scenario. We have 2 super sustainy frontliners and a couple of really, really bursty backliners. So I can walk up front with my big guys and my little guys. If they ever need any help, I have got stuns and peels ready for them with my tanks. So the enemy team comp, that Diablo is going to go in probably the Varian 2, and they're going to get blown the fuck apart because ours is going to be so good at keeping them in check. So let's get this one going. The talent builds, I was struggling with the first level decision here, but ultimately I'm going to take the auto attack talent. Can't remember what it's called, but you get 1.5% of your mana back when you hit things, and then once you hit a bunch of things, you get the cooldown on your hammer reduced. Looks like Arthas went for the quest talent, and is that a block party? It is a block party. I guess he thought that was going to be more helpful against the Rainer than Prog Rock. Or maybe just because it's a 2-lane map, he was worried about globes. So, that's fine. Right now, the quest at level 1 for Uther, you can hit anything. It doesn't have to be heroes. It doesn't have to be just heroes, I mean. You can hit minions, you can hit mercs, you can hit lots of stuff, and stack that up. Right now, I don't want to go too far forward because it is level 1, and Uther does have insane mana problems. But what you just saw there was the whole reason that our comp is going to steamroll theirs. And it'll become very, very apparent as this stuff goes on. Anyway, the level 1 talent with the wax for Uther. Yeah, it's super easy to stack up, and that's kind of the reason that I wanted to get started on this camp. To get some mana back first off, and then get the quest stacks. Uther does have really, really, really bad mana problems early on, and even towards the later game, I mean, they're still noticeable. So keep that in mind when you're playing this character. A lot of his heal really draws effectiveness from the armor that you put down on the heal too. So just remember what you're doing with that. You want to try to heal with Uther preemptively. One of the best rules of thumb for supporting that I ever heard from anyone ever was your tanks should only be healed when they're below 50% health, and your squishies should be healed when they're below 75% health. Couldn't heal myself fast enough there, but we can still heal because we're dead. Which is Uther's trait. I'm sure everyone knows that by now. He's one of the oldest fucking heroes in the game, and the trait is just... Whew. There was a time when you could use your ult and your abilities in ghost form, and it was busted as fuck. More to the effect of the game, though. In this game specifically, I am going to try my damnedest to keep that player alive because he walks forward like no one's fucking business, and make sure that my backline gets some adequate peeling with my E button. I did also take the Holy Shock at level 4, so we can put down some self-healing for us. Self-healing and armor, essentially, with our Q when we hit people with it if none of our buddies need healing. To be fair, there weren't many people showing on the map, so that may have been a risky decision to push the payload, but I got enough out of it. Ta-da! Diablo now can't do anything with his engage. I'm still trying my damnedest to peel. We are getting mana back with every one of these swings. We got our fucking kill there and our cooldown for our E back too. Our tanks have absolutely no fucking fear, and neither does our backline, just walking forward. Nice, easy team fight. Objective is still being pushed by our Hanzo because he was really low. I should be healing this Li Ming any moment now. There it is. I don't know what took me so long. But she was sitting really low, so... She also has a turret that we didn't even need to use. Because the enemy team, the way that their comp is designed, they're going to be walking into us really hard. And we could just let their heroes wade in and eat a whole bunch of damage from our heroes. And then our tanks just, like, line them the fuck up. One of the best parts about this build for Uther, and that level 1 talent in particular, is that with other builds, you have to go back all the fucking time. But if you just sit there and, you know, spend a couple seconds auto-attacking things, if you attack 10 times, you've got 15% of your mana back. So, that's a pretty decent chunk. Especially when you're just, like, slapping minions or mercenaries in the middle lane without much to do, or you're helping your team cap mercs. Like, fuck yeah. So, look at my mana bar right now. It was less than a third when we started that camp, and now I am golden. I can get my buddies healed up, we can get this camp, we can start laying down the pressure even harder, and we got cleanse at 7. Not that I'm going to make the greatest use of that, because being not a support player, I'm not usually looking at teammates getting hit with hard CC. I do need to get better about that with Uther in particular, because I do think this is a hero that lends itself really well to my playstyle and the tank playstyle in general. Yeah, well, that's that train of thought. Right now, our ETC is pushed up really far, and it's kind of scary because only one person is on the map right now, but there was no one on the map just a second ago. Even though we have the talent tier advantage, that may have been a bit aggressive, even with the Night Camp. Or the Enforcer, that's what it's called. Now we're looking to engage. There is the Hanzo arrow. I took that ult, yes. Diablo's in the back line right now. He is hitting tanks. Not doing anything at all. The minion wave is behind us, keeping the fort busy. We have turrets keeping the minions busy. Just really, really solid engage from our team. Knock out the building nice and easy. But we are going to lose that bottom fort to the siege camp, the enforcer camp. It's not that big a deal, though, because we just took a 2-level lead because we decided to engage on the enemy team when they did not have ults, which is what you're supposed to fucking do. And if the only play to make is to take down a fucking fort, you go for it. You do it. You take that initiative, especially when you have those items on this map and other maps with items, because they draw tower aggro, and you can get a lot more ballsy with the plays that you make. Just whacking that wall for some mana, and we're going to the objective that I think, honestly, is a little bit weak on this map. I'm noticing it more as of recently, but it does not do as much damage as I thought it would. Currently I have a 3-level lead. We're up a talent. I'm going to grab that turret. We have only one if we want to do this team fight. But I have my ult up. I've got my heals gonna be online. Cleanse is ready too. ETC going for that aggressive power slide flank. He got 2 with it. We got the Varian easy. Li Ming getting the resets, knocking him out. Diablo putting himself in such a stupid spot with that ult. ETC did take stage dive. I'm not sure why he took it. I guess he was worried about KT, Raynor, possibly Diablo. But all he really has to worry about is KT and Raynor. Maybe he's just more comfortable on stage dive. I am just fine with that because that lets him soak harder. And our 4-man is, I mean, it's still basically 2 tanks, 2 really solid ranged assassins. Hanzo doing something out there. That's right, he took this camp and then walked forward. I went to push the minion wave out to get up there with the camp because the camp just gets eaten alive by buildings and the enemy team if there aren't minions there to take the aggro. And then he decided he was going to walk up there with the camp, which was a dumb call. Just honestly a dumb call on his part. We should not have taken the camp until the wave was pushed up, but I understand the snap reaction. Go to get the camp! We gotta take the advantage while we got it! Now we're gonna get our camp out. We should be looking at the vision camp in the middle there. I'm fairly certain the enemy team is on their turret camp because they're not anywhere else on the map. There it is. Now the vision camp becomes a little bit scary. But Varian is top, so looks like white main's top 2. ETC playing anchor really, really awesomely. We are still a talent up, 3 level advantage. Hanzo going for the big arrow, but we're all too far away to really capitalize on it, which sucks. I've got Benediction ready, so that is a thing that we can pre-rewind our heals if need be. And then our whole team just decided, hey, we got the level advantage again. Let's go fuck their shit up. Really solid decision making with this team. I think this was a 4-man that came about, and the Uther was our last pick too, which I was pretty proud of. But yeah, anyway, the wall came down. That's all we can really get from that. Bottom lane is pushing on its own, so we can look at the camps on the way down there. Yep, there we go. Looks like the enemy team may try to engage to fight us for it, which is super dumb of them. If that Varian goes in, he is the stun target. Drop the hammer on the camp. Want to get over to here. That is one thing I cannot stop Diablo from doing. We can certainly stop Varian right in his tracks. Hanzo with the arrow getting the kill for Ming. I just blew my stun there on the Diablo to kill him because fuck it, why not? And he's back. But he doesn't have any souls anymore, so he's ultra squishy now. Arthas wants to go in. The minion wave is there. We can. I don't think the rest of us are really committed to that idea because the objective is up. Still 3 level lead, and the minions get the keep. Again, this objective, it's going to put some damage on that top keep, especially with the wall down, but it's not going to kill it. And I can't even say that it's going to go below half health. I hope that it does. I'm sitting back here with Hanzo because that exact reason. They seem to want to engage on him really hard for some reason. And I popped the Benediction for the heal on Arthas because he took a lot of damage and he doesn't actually have any mana. We should back up. We know that we have the space to do it. I don't have any mana either. We actually went into that, if I remember how I'm remembering it, we went into that fairly low on the mana side of things, maybe above half-ish health. But we did not have all of our weapons available, with the amount of mana that we had. So it was a good call for us to back off. The enemy team has to push it all the way from where we got it to, back up to the top point anyway. Do you really want me to take it? I don't think so. Got Hanzo back to 80-ish% health, 85. Now we're going to get this fucking thing back in the direction. Diablo was just in the top lane. Looks like he's trying to soak his team 16. ETC is soaking in the bottom lane to make sure that we hit 20. It's not going to be soon, but he wants to get us closer. And he's got stage dive too, so who fucking cares? This should be an easy objective for us. We're on the same talent tier now because the enemy team did get the soak, but if they engage on us, all of our ults are up. Diablo doesn't have as many souls as he would have 2 seconds ago. Looks like... Ooh, I just missed the Varian. Li Ming did get engaged on, took a huge fucking chunk of damage. I think Diablo is still looking for her, and he is apparently looking for Hanzo as well. Couldn't do enough damage. And that is, again, just like the amount of frontline that our team has to just stop them in their fucking tracks is so absolutely nuts. Like, Arthas living there with next to no health, Li Ming getting all the resets, all the cleanups. I mean, just the one, technically, but she could have kept going if she wanted to, if the rest of our team wanted to. Oh, look, it is going to get the top keep. That's nice. That's it, though. No damage to the core. Maybe took it for a little bit of shield damage, but that's just going to come back. So basically at this point, ETC's job is still just to keep soaking with stage dive. I absolutely love that player for making that decision this whole game. Like, I think these 4 guys are probably in comms somewhere, but really fucking impeccable work from them. Him soaking, we're hitting 20. We just got the Enforcer camp, which, I'll fucking be honest with you, feels just like a boss. Like, it doesn't have the CC that the boss does, and it may not have, probably has like half the health bar that the boss does, but like, it feels nasty when it gets pushing. So all of our abilities are up. I took Redemption because if I do die, I want to be able to come right fucking back after I heal my team in ghost form. Not that I think that happens, but that is the standard talent for level 20. There's the engage. ETC going for the slide. Diablo going in thinking he's going to deal damage somehow, but he just eats his whole health bar while none of us care. Just keeping my boys alive. Not like there's any worry at all. Anytime Varian goes in with that ability, his health is shit. And I made sure that he knew it, because he gets hit by that fucking hammer all the fucking time. Oh yeah. Welcome to the jungle. And that's about it. I mean, we made the call to end. A really, really easy call to end, to be fair, because 20-17, and even if we had waited for the next objective, the enemy team still would have lost super hard. That was one of the most well-executed games I could ever play as the single random to a 4-stack. Those two definitely deserved it. Our ETC should have been up there instead of that Rainer. Like, he soaked so much experience for us. Let's check out the number. 18 fucking thousand. He soaked as many or as much as 3 players on the enemy team combined. Like, that is fucking insane. And then you look at these numbers. Like, all these players are sub 6,000. Diablo was trying to bring it back for them, but didn't even come close to bridging that gap. 3 kills to 20 because we took that lead from the start and just rammed it down the enemy team's throat. Here's the talents if you're at all interested in the build. Hammer of the Lightbringer at 1. Holy Shock at 4, Hand of Protection at 7. I couldn't tell you a single time that I used that game. Yeah, no. My brain, I was not looking for it, to be perfectly honest. And then there was Divine Storm at 10. 13 was Well Met. 16 was Benediction. 20 was Redemption. Not that I use this or this, really any. But, you know, that's usually the way that some things go sometimes, especially when you're stomping as fucking hard as our team was. Anyway, things to take away from that game are the frontline abilities of Uther the Lightbringer, and keeping another heavy frontline alive with him, especially heroes that can do some manner of their own self-sustain, like Arthas with Death Coil, ETC with Prog Rock. Those two pair insanely well with Uther, because he is mitigating damage with his armor, giving him a tiny burst heal, but basically giving their heals more impact as well. And then the amount of peel coming from Uther with his E, and then there wasn't really a good Divine Shield target this game. I suppose I could have taken it to save people, but as you noticed from the stuns and just kind of holding down the fort with our backliners, that the Divine Storm did more than its share of game carrying for them. So it's not a must pick. You don't have to take Divine Shield every time, especially in instances like this where more CC is going to do you some favors. But that was the game. I definitely hope you liked it. That is one of my favorite healers of all time, and just truly, he's got a bit of a niche, but when you can exploit that niche, man, he is fucking killer. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things if you feel like it. If not, I understand. But other than that, I hope you have a nice holy. I mean, you could probably go to church. That's holy. Whatever. You get what I mean. Have a paladin day.